Alright, so we're talking about quadratic still. Today we're talking about standard form. We got some icons on that first page. I'm going to start with you, Amanda. You want to read the first icon?
I can explain that standard form is f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c and identify the a, b, and c values.
Sweet, thanks. Cade, you want to read the next one?
I define the vertex and axis of symmetry with quadratic function by calculating negative b divided by 2a.
Perfect. Jay, you got the next one?
I can graph quadratic function, finding the vertex, y-intercept the axis of symmetry using the property of symmetry.
Thank you, bud. Bryce?
I can convert standard form of a quadratic equation to vertex by finding the vertex and identifying a.
Okay, and then when you mix, I can graph a quadratic function showing intercepts and maximum or minimum. Alright, so we got some vocab stuff. Quadratic. Look at that, it even tells you how to say it. Quadratic. Exciting. Like I said, I don't know. I don't use quadratics much. I use parabolas, that sort of thing. We know what quadratic functions are, right? I talked about that yesterday. Gotta have a variable squared in there. Yeah? Okay. I don't have the scrolling thing. So this standard form right here, this bad, oh boy. This bad guy, the y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, that is our standard form of the quadratic function. And a can't be 0, because if it was 0, then we wouldn't even have the squared. It'd just be 1. We got some properties that are real nice and handy. Again, our standard form. Talked about this yesterday. If a is bigger than 0, it opens up. A less than 0 opens down. Here, this third bullet is a big one. Axis of symmetry. I learned yesterday how to find it from a graph. Today we're going to learn how to find it given an equation in that standard form. The negative b over 2a refers to this right here. B being the one attached to x, a being the one attached to x squared. Our y-intercept is just 0c, which the c comes from this one as well. Okay. Most importantly, I think, is that third bullet down, our axis of symmetry. So we're going to jump right into it. I need to find the y-intercept of our graph. 5x squared minus 3x minus 4 tells me this one right here, my y-intercept is 0, c. So my x has to be 0. My c, my standard equation, is the thing not attached to our variable. What number isn't attached to a variable here?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So my y-intercept is the point, 0, negative 4. Okay. So far, not too bad, right? This is repeat, isn't it? Is that really on there twice? Well, lucky you guys. Alright. Here's where stuff gets fun. So we have this equation, y equals minus 2x squared plus 2x minus 5. I want to find the axis of symmetry so that I can graph this thing. This is that equation. You will know it by heart in about half hour probably. X equals negative b over 2a. So all I have to do is stick my numbers. Remember, we have ax squared, bx, c. All I have to do is stick those numbers into that equation. So what's my b in my equation? 2. What's my a? Negative 2. Good catch. So what's 2 times negative 2? So what's negative 2 divided by negative 4? Negative a half?
Yeah.
Negative divided by a negative? Positive, yeah. Positive 1/2. Our equation always comes with this negative, okay? Sometimes people don't catch on to that. Do you guys like fractions or decimals? You want to use half or 0.5? 0.5, okay. So just side note, 0.5. Okay, now to find, so that my axis symmetry like we talked about yesterday always goes to my vertex, right? So to find the y-coordinate of my vertex, all I gotta do is plug this value I just found in from my x's here. So in this line, we're gonna write y equals, and I'm just gonna plug in 0.5 every time I see an x. So back up to my equation, I have negative 2 x, I'm gonna substitute 0.5 in, square it, plus 2 times our 0.5 minus 5. Does everybody know where I got all those numbers from?
Yeah.
Yeah, right here. Okay. That's all just calculator stuff. Can I just give you the answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you put this in your calculator, you get y to be negative 4.5. So that means my vertex, this is my x coordinate, this is my y coordinate. Plug it in here nice. 0.5 comma negative 4.5. Okay, on our graph, for my x, every 2, I'm going to make 1. And then I'm going to go by 1s on the y. Does that make sense? So I'm going to plot my vertex over 0.5 down. Negative 4.5. Off a little bit. Okay, so far so good. Now I know my axis of symmetry that I calculated up here is my x coordinate, so I know my axis of symmetry is that line right there. So now I just got to pick 2 points like we were talking about earlier to help me out with this. Well, let's make one of them 1. Where am I plugging this x is 1 into? This top equation, yeah, this equation. So 1 squared times negative 2 plus 2 minus 5 gives me negative 5. So I'm going to go over 1 and down negative 5, which is right there. Okay. Next point I'm going to put in is 2. Plug it back from that equation. 2 squared 4, 4 times negative 2, negative 8, plus 2 times 2, which is 4, so negative 8, plus 4 minus 5 gets me a negative 9. So I go over 2, down, negative 9. Then all I do is mirror those like we did yesterday. And draw a nice little curve. Okay, so pretty much the only thing that's different from yesterday, we were just flat out given the vertex. Today we kind of work for it. Other than that, the rest of the steps are the same. Good, can I scoot up? Okay. Alright, 2b says, what is the graph of 4x squared minus 16x plus 10? First step, find my axis of symmetry. That is that little equation where x equals negative b over 2a. What am I plugging in for b? Good catch, negative 16. What am I plugging in for a? 4. So negative, negative, that makes positive. 16 divided by 8, 2. So our x equals 2. So if you just want to right away make your axis of symmetry of 2, you can do that, or you can wait. I did it. Okay, that's step 1. Go to step 1. Yeah, what's up?
Okay, oh no, I see what it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Step 2. Plug my x to get my y. What the heck? Did I thought that just turned black? Crazy. Okay. My 2 goes in here, so 4 times 2 squared minus 16 times 2 plus 10. I know we can all do math and use calculators. Y is negative 6. So what, remind me, what is that? X is 2, y is negative 6. What does that give me? Perfect, my vertex. Oh, too much. So my vertex is the point 2, negative 6. And then go ahead and plot it. Okay, good with step 2? Now we're just gonna make a table. This is kind of what we're talking about when we're going over that problem. Don't always pick 1 and 2, because if your vertex is way over here, you're gonna get crazy stuff. Always pick stuff that's close to your vertex. Okay? You can go to the left and mirror it on the right. I just always go to the right. I don't know. I'm just weird like that. So I'm gonna plug in. Maybe let's go to the left. Those are lower numbers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to the left. How about 1 and 0? If I put 1 into my equation, 1 squared 1, 1 times 4 is 4. 4 minus 16 plus 10 gives me negative 2. If I plug in 0, what do I get? 10. So I guess I just lied a little bit. I don't know. If you're gonna get a 0, if you're close to a 0, I'd do that because a lot of times. Alright, so we got, what's 1, negative 2, and 0, 10. Then just mirror them to get your other half and draw a nice, I missed my vertex, steep parabola. There we go. Questions? Like, what's so funny? Alright, good? Okay. Oh wait, I want you to write something. Well, I guess you don't have to. I'm going to. Our standard form is that y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That vertex form is the one we worked with yesterday. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. We're going to go from the top to the bottom. Okay. Oh, sweet. All right. Somebody remind me what the H and K stand for?
The K
Left.
through Y.
The K's are Y, the H's are X of our what? Vertex, yeah. So, hold on, I'm back up a sec. And when we found, scroll, our x and y here, that was my vertex, right? So we're just going to do our axis of symmetry. So that'll give us our x. Plug it in, that'll get our y, and that's our vertex. Then we can plug those into h and k. Sound like a plan? So we got our little formula, x equals negative b over 2a. What's my b? 4. Ooh, trick question, what's my a? -1. Good. There's a negative out front. When there's not a number, it's always a 1. Okay? What, you got an answer for me? -4 divided by -2 is?
That's a negative form, top right.
Yes. It's not, b isn't negative, but our axis symmetry always comes to the negative. Yep. This simplifies down to 2, so the x coordinate of my vertex is 2. Now, how did we get our y coordinate of our vertex? Plug it in. Awesome. So y is negative 2 squared plus 4 times 2 minus 5. Do math, and we get -1. So that means my vertex is to -1. Okay. So my vertex goes into h and k. I leave y and x in a formula, so the only variable I'm looking for is this a. Well, I already got a. You plugged it in here for a. What is a?
1.
-1. So I'm done. I just gotta write my formula. Want it in this form, so we have y equals a -1 x minus h is 2 squared. Oops. It's not plus, it's -1. You can do plus and -1, whatever. You don't need to have this -1 out front if you just want to put a negative out front, that's fine. Either way, not to. Okay. A is just the same thing as our top one, which is this -1, and that's what we plugged in. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up, bud?
What does that say? But like the -4.
This part?
Yeah.
That says -4 divided by 2 times -1, because we plugged in our -1 for A in the very beginning.
When do we start factoring expressions?
Any other questions? Okay, we got one more. Think we can do it. All right, same thing. I want to go from standard to vertex. So I'll start with my x equals, you guys have that formula memorized yet? Negative b over 2a. What am I plugging in for b? -3. What am I plugging in for a? 2. Simplify. We like decimals. I think that is what I'm hearing. If you want fractions, that's fine. Not gonna lie, this one gets kind of ugly. Sorry. Alright, once I have my x, what do? Plug it in. Y equals 2 times my x, which is 0.75 squared, minus 3 times our x, which is 0.75 plus 3. Again, all you gotta do is fill that in your calculator. I'm gonna save us some time. We get out 1.875. When you do use your calculator, I don't know. I only like to do things once, so I make sure I'm careful when I do it. I would start with your 0.75 squared times 2. Then when you subtract, make sure you put like parentheses 3 times 0.75. If you don't use the parentheses, stuff's gonna get mixed up, okay? Maybe, I don't know, some calculators are smart, but anyway. I just want you guys to get the right answer. Wait, so that x and y is what? Tells me what? My vertex. So my vertex is the point 0.75, comma 1.875. Only other thing I need is my a. What's my a? 2. All we gotta do is throw in our equation now. Well, I'll extend this a little bit. So I got y equals my a, which is 2, times x minus my x coordinate of 0.75 squared plus 1.875. Like I said, kind of ugly, but that's okay. All right, how we feel?
Good.
Good? Okay. Questions? Okay.